Okie dokie. Welcome back, dear viewer. I shall not waste any further time. Let us continue the story from where we left.
I didn't see the first part.
Ooh, you could have not made a worse mistake. You better go watch that, because if you don't, that's totally fine. But you don't have to. This video just won't make any sense. Anyway, let's begin. After walking around Cape Spear, we drove back into St. John's to see all of the attractions for the next couple days. We went up Signal Hill, probably one of the most well-known locations in St. John's. It was here that the first wireless signal was sent across the Atlantic from England. And what was this message? It was none other than S. We also looked around George Street, walked around the parks, and got some stuff from the various gift shops in town. My brother also lost his hat again, this time for real. It was at the shoe shop that we went to fix his laces. After doing pretty much everything that there was to do in St. John's, we made our way back to Carbonear. On our way, we went to a nature park to see some animals like caribou, foxes, and rabbits. The rabbit wasn't part of the park, though. We just stumbled upon it. We ATV'd a little more in Carbonear before making the ambitious 9-hour drive back to Channel Port aux Basques. In the afternoon, we stopped in Gander to see the aviation museum that was there, but that was really the only time we got out. It was dark and rainy by the time we got to the ferry, but we were happy to be getting on it after a long, tiring drive. That's what I would say if it was that easy. The ferry was full, and it didn't have a free spot until the end of the summer. But we weren't out of luck, because there was another 13-hour ferry on the other side of the island that takes you to Nova Scotia. But that was full too. In short, we were stuck in Newfoundland if we couldn't find a way off. We were even considering going on the ferry to Labrador, but the highway out of Labrador is long, with very few towns in between, and lots of flies with no places to stop and no way to get help in an emergency. So that choice was off the table. So we kept calling the ferry service to try and get a spot if someone else canceled their booking. We knew the ferry was full before we arrived at the terminal, but we still drove there anyway in case a spot opened up and we could just get on. Unfortunately, only people with a booking were allowed in the parking lot, so we had to park outside the gate. My brother and I went to bed, but during the night my dad was able to book us a spot online. So then he walked over to the gate to see if he could get us into the parking lot now that he had a booking. Hello? Sorry. It's fine. How can I help you? I have a booking for the ferry tomorrow. Can I park inside for the night? Sure, drive over here. Alrighty, what's that number again? Okay, let me type that in. And you're sure this is the correct number? Positive. You're booked the wrong way. What? You're booked on the boat from North Sydney to Port aux Basques, not Port aux Basques to North Sydney. No. So, after all that effort, we booked the wrong ferry. The next morning, though, we somehow were able to get tickets for the ferry that night, so we got through the gate and parked. After all that entanglement and 7 hours of sleep on the ferry, we finally arrived in Nova Scotia again. It turned out that getting off the ferry would be almost as hard as getting on. The front door of the ferry was stuck, so the boat had to turn around and everyone had to tediously back off the ferry. But finally, we had escaped that absolute nightmare and headed back into the mainland where we went to meet our cousins, who are also big enjoyers of this YouTube channel. Man, that's the 4th wall I've broken this month. While at their house, we played some Wii, where my brother forgot how to use a controller. We also walked around the forest and explored their camp that they made. They also had some cool stuff like a pogo stick and a ripstick, which my brother desperately wanted to try out. He got pretty good at it too, until he decided to go down the hill on it, and you know where this is going. He wiped out hard on the pavement. Nothing broken though, just some severe wrist pain and a big hole in his elbow. You want some ice on that, or...? We also went to a zoo and another aviation museum. After that, we decided to head north into Prince Edward Island, the smallest province of Canada. It's obviously an island, and we had to get on a ferry to get there. And once we landed in Wood Islands, we had made a pretty big milestone. We had officially been to every province in Canada. Still got to get around to those territories, though. We took a short drive from there to Cavendish, where we went to the beach and walked in the sand. Prince Edward Island has a strange phenomenon where the sand makes this squeak noise. Here's a video of me doing that. beach also had some red dunes and rocks. Most of PEI soil is like this, and it's really good for farming potatoes, which we saw a lot of there. The sand dunes were off limits though for preservation, so going there would be illegal. We then slept the next couple of nights at an RV park. We also played Gagaball with some of the local kids. Gagaball is basically where you're in an enclosure and you have to hit people's ankles with a ball. My brother got out and tried to leave the pit, but tripped and fell flat on the red dirt. So his wrist hurt even more and half his body was red, so he had to go and wash that off. We watched a movie that night and got eaten alive by the bugs, especially me since my pants were not long enough and my ankles were just all mosquito bite. When we left in the morning, some people saw the sign on the truck, but only while we were emptying the septic tank. So that was fun. Clearly, some other people saw the sign though. That day, we went beach hopping across the coast since the entire coast was just all beach. We really had no other choice though, since it was 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Pathetic. After that, we went to Charlottetown and looked around the city, but realized that we had been on the road for almost a month and a half. The summer was coming to an end, so we decided to drive the rest of the way home, taking the same route we took on the way. On our way off the island, we crossed the Confederation Bridge, the longest bridge over freezing water in the world. In only 2 days, we got from Charlottetown to Ontario again. I would really love to head back there again sometime, since there were definitely a lot of things we didn't get to see, but school is still a thing for me, and summer only lasts so long in Canada. Hey everyone, hope you all have a great holiday season. It doesn't matter if you celebrate, just be sure to enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, don't forget to like. But before you go, I just want to nominate Julia and Luke for our first ever fan art, and there's 2 of them. Look at these, they look so sick, dude. Editing Ryan, make it spin. Yeah! And the other one. Yeah! Okay, thanks again for watching. I'm exhausted, I'm going to bed.